Play ball. Hot off the press, handicappers from Wager Talk, SportsMemo, and the Gold Sheet have collaborated on the 2023 Wager Talk Media MLB Betting Guide. From World Series odds to regular season win totals and everything in between, this year's betting guide features previews on all 30 teams, all 6 divisions, and season-long awards like the Cy Young, MVP, and Rookie of the Year. Each preview contains key roster acquisitions and departures to help you get up to speed before opening day. Visit wt.buzz/MLB23 to download your free guide, and we'll see you in the batter's box.
Welcome to the NBA Triple Double Show powered by SportsMemo. I am your host, Ronald Cabang, also known as UCapper on SportsMemo.com, at UCapper Sports on Twitter. I'll be joined by Moneyline Matt and Jeff Michaels to break down 3 games from today's 10-game NBA slate, a huge slate today. Before we get into those games, I do want to talk about something that we got over at SportsMemo.com for everyone on the NBA Triple Double panel this week. That's going to be for myself, Matt, Jeff, and Tony Finn over at Wager Talk. It's a 7-day NBA pass for just $49, pretty much $7 a day. The promo code for that is NBA7. Once again, NBA7 is the promo code for a 7-day NBA pass for myself, Matt, Jeff Michaels, and Tony Finn over at wagertalk.com. Make sure you head over to sportsmemo.com after the show here. Utilize the free live odds page, the free picks and analysis that the cappers provide on a daily basis. Also, sometimes we have different promos that I don't mention on the show that will be on the deals site as well. So make sure you go over to sportsmemo.com after the show here. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button before you go as well. It helps our show grow tremendously as we continue to close out the NBA season. With that said, let's get Matt and Jeff up here with me. Guys, you know how we do it now. We are truly transparent to start the show here. Yesterday, I think it was. Now I can't even remember after I say that. I think I was 3-1, 3-1-1. I believe yesterday, or 2-1-2, something like that. I know I had probably a couple pushes yesterday, but profitable day nonetheless. How did you guys do yesterday, Matt? Let's start with you.
Yeah, so on Monday, we had a great day. We went 2-0. Mike Conley hit for us with the best bet. That was an official play. And I told you guys about the Lakers. I was telling you guys the Lakers are going to go out and win that. I ended up making it a 4% play. It happened just like I said. And Moneyline bets have been my bread and butter since 2023. I was 12-3 going into last night. I took the Brooklyn Nets Moneyline. And another knife in my back. Every single Moneyline loss I have had has been a buzzer beater. It's kind of been, it sucks actually, but it is what it is. Ready to bounce back today. Ended up going 2-2. And if you haven't been checking out the page, I have been doing a free play same game parlay, even money, the 10-day challenge. Started it yesterday. We hit day 1, so we're going to move on to day 2 today. So I will have another free play, even odds, same game parlay. Generally, you can do that on FanDuel, DraftKings, PointsBet, whatever you want. So check my page for that free play today, but let's keep it rolling.
Yeah. Jeff, sorry. Let's start. How have you been doing this week?
Week as a whole, I can't complain. We've had a nice little March Madness run. Definitely had a 5% winner with UConn last night, so that was a nice win. Watching the 2 late games, sitting on a pretty note. Would have been a tough NBA run the last couple of days, but I did find one spot I really like today that I do have up, and got another couple college basketball plays up. So looking forward to talking some NBA with you guys, and looking forward to another weekend of college basketball as we move forward to these NBA playoffs too.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be the key moment here. I think it's Sweet 16 heading into the 8s. So let's go into the NBA slate here. Sixers, Warriors. Sixers 49-23 on the season, coming off a 25-point win over the Bulls on Monday. We had that one for the clients on Monday. This is the second of a 4-game road trip, but they have had to travel from Chicago to San Francisco, so tough travel spot there. They are also playing the first leg of back-to-back games with the Suns in Phoenix tomorrow. Warriors, on the other hand, 38-36 on the season on a 2-game winning streak. Both surprisingly wins on the road, guys. This is the first of a 4-game homestand, though, so going from road to home following a long 5-game road trip. They kind of went around started on the West Coast, East Coast, coming back. 8 of their last 10 games actually have been on the road. Now they see themselves as heavy favorites over a Sixers squad who are pretty hot right now. They also got a couple guys who are key questionable guys here, Harden and Embiid, and that's probably why the line has been going in the direction that it has been, because we don't know if they're going to show up or not. On the Warrior side, Iggy, Wiggins, Payton, and Ty Jerome are all out. Matchup perspective, the Sixers won and covered the first matchup this season in Philly, 118-106, but both teams were completely different at that time. The Warriors, no Curry, Wiggins, or Draymond. On the Sixers side, no Maxey or Tobias Harris. This is, like I said, this is not going to be the same game that we saw in Philly. Jeff, let's start with you here. What do you think about this game?
This is definitely going to be an interesting one to watch, to say the least. Like you said, I think the big question mark where we're sitting right now is obviously going to be Embiid and Harden, and I think kind of because of it is part of the reason that I'm actually kind of staying away from this game. There were two things that really stood out to me for Golden State. I mean, they've closed out the year well. They're 15-5 against the spread at home in the last 3 years in the month of March or April, and that's not playoff games. And this year, they're 10-3 against the spread at home against teams with a winning record on the season. So they're winning those games by over 9 points per game, but that question mark is really, you kind of mentioned it, those two wins on the road, because to me they really mean one of two things when you're talking about Golden State. We know that they obviously have potential. We know they know how to play. So is it them really putting their foot on the pedal to close out the season, and is it the start of the hot stretch? Or, is something funky going on here with the Warriors that they pulled out these wins, and I want to see it, kind of if it's going to be consistent coming back home, and if we're seeing, potentially a playoff Golden State team coming into fruition here. So I'm going to stay away from this game. Trends tell me Golden State, but I still think I'm leaning Philly, and I may back Philly if Embiid and Harden end up playing in this one tonight.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, like, the home road splits for the Warriors, obviously it's going to point towards the Warriors at home. The Sixers, though, like I said earlier, they've been a pretty hot team here, won 9 of their last 10 games, post All-Star break, second in the league in offensive rating. If you actually look at that 10-game stretch where they won 9 of them, they're number 1 in offensive rating in the league, by margin, too. Their offensive rating, 125.5. Second would be the Kings, and that's at 120.5. So that's a 5-point gap between first and second. If we look at the Sixers in non-conference road situations, they're 5-0 to the team total over. The Sixers, on the other hand, the Warriors, on the other hand, when they're at home, they've been a defensive monster. I think they've kept their opponents under their team total in 7 of their last 8 games, and in those 8 games, in that 8-game span, they won and covered in all 8 of them. This one, it has a lot of competing trends on both sides here, but like you said, I think I would still look towards the Sixers here to cover the spread. I don't know if they get the win, but to cover the spread, I think would be something that they could do, especially if Embiid and Harden are in. The one thing that I could think about in that situation is that you were mentioning, Jeff, is that I feel like the Warriors feel that sense of urgency finally, and it's taken so long, but getting those 2 wins on the road tells me that they're on another level right now, and I think they had to adjust for a period of time without Wiggins, and they're possibly going to be without him for the remainder of the season, but. Maybe the Warriors win this game, but the Sixers cover. Another way that I could look at it would probably be the Warriors team total over, because I know they've been going over their team total in 4 of their last 5 games. So offensively, maybe that might be the spot for them, whether they cover or not. Maybe that's the way to go, that team total over. Matt, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. This is one of those spots where I definitely need to see if James Harden and Joel Embiid are going to be declared in. But with the line being at -5.5, I actually think that they might be declared out. I feel like that's kind of a lot of points for a Warriors team who, in my eyes, have not been playing as good as this 76ers squad. And to your point, I'll be honest. Without Andrew Wiggins, I think you can chalk this Golden State Warriors team up. I don't think maybe they'll win a playoff series, but I don't think they get much further than that. And when I look at the 76ers, I actually think the 76ers are a dangerous team in the Eastern Conference at this point in time. I think they're playing better basketball than that of the Boston Celtics. And for the Eastern Conference currently, I would actually put it as the Milwaukee Bucks and the Philadelphia 76ers are my two teams at the top right now. So just wanted to kind of talk about that real briefly. But again, going back to this game, I need to know if Joel Embiid or James Harden is in before taking this. There's no player props available right now. If they are out, I'm okay with looking at the total, the 234.5, just because you have Melton who comes in after that, the backup point guard. You have guys like Shake Milton. You have some guys who can come off the bench and still score. And this is going to be a Golden State Warriors team who is going to push the pace. They have one of the higher paces in all basketball, and they do play much better at home. So the Warriors are going to score points. And then someone who fits right into that Warriors pace, that Warriors lack of defense, is Tyrese Maxey. I haven't seen the Tyrese Maxey points just yet. Again, there are no lines released, but I do really like that look of Tyrese Maxey tonight. I think he's going to be able to get out and run. He might be matched up with Steph Curry a good amount, and he's definitely a player who's really elevated his play this season, with guys like James Harden being around him, Joel Embiid. He's actually slid into that starting lineup most nights. So I think he's someone who can help to carry this load and potentially keep this game close throughout. I don't know. This spread isn't really something I want to deal with right now, just because, again, there's a lot of unknowns. But when I look at that 234.5 total, I actually do think that's interesting, and I do think that could trend over with or without these players. But the player prop that I would be looking at tonight would be Tyrese Maxey. I'm kind of anticipating that line getting released.
I like it. Maxey's been balling out. Let's move on to the Suns and the Kings here. Suns, 38-34 on the season, 2-game losing streak, lost 5 of the last 6, failed to cover in all 6 of those games as well. Last of a 3-game road trip, first leg of back-to-back games. They face the Sixers, who we just talked about, at home tomorrow. On the Kings side, they're 43-29 on the season, also on a 2-game losing streak as well, though, coming off of that 23-point loss to the Celtics. Second of a 4-game homestand, first leg of back-to-back games as well, but they play the Jazz tomorrow at home, so a much easier matchup than who the Suns got tomorrow. From an injury perspective, KD and Ayton out. Herter is out, is questionable. Sorry, not out. He is questionable for the Kings. From a matchup perspective, the Suns lead the matchup 2-1, but the Kings did win the most recent one. Matt, let's start with you here. I know you like the Kings props for the most part. Whenever you see the Kings here, I know you like them props, but do you see anything from a side or total perspective?
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, Ron, because my best bet is from the Kings game once again.
Oh, yeah.
But when I look at this game, man, it's conflicting for me. It really is, because this Phoenix Suns team has now lost 5 of their last 6, like you said, failing to cover. And they need wins. They need wins at this point in time. And they traded away a lot of their depth with Kevin Durant. And then you look at the Sacramento Kings, and they just got embarrassed at home by the Boston Celtics. So I'll be honest, this is a very tough game for me to choose from a depth perspective, from a team that is better at this point in time. It's Sacramento. Sacramento is definitely the better team. They have more depth. They have more shooters. They have more guys who can take the basketball and, create their own shot, go get a bucket, things of that nature. Because for the Phoenix Suns right now, there's no DeAndre Ayton. Obviously, I already said there's no Kevin Durant. So you're putting a lot of pressure on guys like Devin Booker, who, yeah, he's fully capable of carrying the load. But then you got the next guy is like Chris Paul. And I don't know if Chris Paul is fully capable of doing that at this point in time. So, and then after Chris Paul, it's Josh Okogie, and it's Cam Payne, and it's Landry Shamet. And I'm so tired of seeing Landry Shamet, I'm going to be honest. But so for me, I don't exactly know where to go in this game, because I'm getting things conflicting from both sides. The 239 total is interesting to me. I could see this being a very fast-paced matchup. I could see both teams really just trying to get out and run in this spot. And the Kings are a type of team that you have to try and keep up with. And the Suns are going to be softer inside without DeAndre Ayton. You got to remember, they're going to be running Bismack Biyombo and then Jock Landale. So their interior presence isn't going to be as strong in this matchup. So I do think that total is definitely interesting. I could actually see like a first quarter total or maybe a first half total, just because I think both teams are going to come fired up here. again, the Suns have lost 5 of their last 6. The Kings just got embarrassed at home. And when that happens, for me personally, I believe both teams are going to come in focused. They're going to come in, ready to roll, get into their sets early and often. And I expect some points early here. So, again, my best bet is from this game. So we'll talk about this a little more. It's a player prop. But for me, I don't know if I'm going to go with the spread here. If anywhere, maybe I'd look at the total and go with the over 239, or maybe a first quarter total or something along those lines.
Yeah, you mentioned the Kings often embarrassing loss, and right when you were talking about it, I looked it up in the database. So Kings, after a 20-point loss, 2-0 straight up and against the spread, also 2-0 to the over. So that kind of supports your over there. Both of those games, they went over their team total by 15 or more points. Jeff, what are your thoughts on this one? Are you looking towards the total or a side?
My bad, guys. Sorry, got barking dogs in the background, so I'm not used to double checking for it. But I thought, Ron, I thought you were going to take the number that I had for you. They're actually as well. The Kings 8-3 straight up and against the spread at home off of a home loss this season, and they've won
Nice.
and covered 4 straight too. So that was one that stood out to me, that Sacramento is one of the better home teams at least in terms of their offensive presence, but losing back-to-back games at home isn't something that they do frequently. And that is the one situation that really does kind of have me leaning towards Sacramento. Funny enough, my best bet's actually from this game as well. But
Wait,
the other thing I was looking at too, but funny enough, so I'll come back to this one later. But the last thing I'll leave you with, Phoenix from the sides perspective, two kind of competing angles that I found here. In the short term, bouncing back from a bad loss, I mean, Phoenix is off a double-digit loss too. They're actually 8-3 against the spread in their last 11 on the road after a double-digit loss. They've covered 6 out of the last 7. But you look a little more long-term, they're just 4-12-1 against the spread this season, revenging a loss as a favorite. So Sacramento was the underdog when they took that win in the most recent meeting between these two teams. So Phoenix couldn't get it done as the favorite. And now they're actually 1-4 as an underdog too in that situation. So they couldn't get it done as a favorite last time. Now the line's flipped. Sacramento's the favorite. I don't love the Sacramento spot. Like I said, I got a look that I like a little more from this game. But if I was leaning on a side, I do think I'd be leaning with Sacramento at home. I don't think they're going to drop 2 in a row at home.
yeah, I mean, I didn't realize that maybe our all of our best bets are on this game then in that case. But I'll go hard on this one. I do like the Kings. You guys mentioned the Kings side here that you guys lean towards, but if you look at the Suns, they've been struggling the last 6 games without KD, 1-5 straight up, 0-6 against the spread. If you look at them during that time frame, 27th in the league in the offensive rating. I know on the other hand, the Kings, they're not a great defensive team, right? They're able to a lot of teams are able to score on them pretty easily. The Suns, maybe they won't have a problem today, but if you look at it, the Kings are one of the best offensive rated teams post All-Star break. They're also one of the faster paced teams in the league. If you look at the Suns and what they struggle at defensively, they struggle against fast-paced teams. They're 28th in the league in opponent fast break points, allowing that. So I could see the Kings really putting an all-out offensive effort here against the Suns. Whether or not the Suns, bounce back slightly off of against a weak defense, that could happen. But I still don't think they will be able to keep up with the Kings here offensively. From a trend perspective, if you look at the Kings as conference home favorites, they're 11-4 straight up, and also 11-4 to the over. They're averaging 128 per game, allowing 119 per game. So there's an 8-point gap there on that full game margin. On the opposite side, if you look at the Suns, conference road dogs, the opposite situation. They're 3-9 straight up, 11-1 to the over. So that over that Matt was talking about, there's some support there. The Suns averaging 116.8 per game, allowing 123.1 per game. And then I mentioned that coming off a 20-point loss trend earlier with the Kings, 2-0 straight up, and going over their team total by 15 points in both of those games, pretty much smashing their opponent in both situations. If you look at that, I would only look towards the Kings. I could only look towards the over. if you want to key in on it specifically and just take one bet, maybe take the Kings team total over, whether or not depending on what happens. But in my opinion, I think the Kings offensively are just on point right now, and this pace is the pace is going to be fast. The Suns are going to try to keep up offensively, and that's going to push it to go over tonight's total, in my opinion. I think it's at 239. It's going down. I feel like it's not going in the right direction. It should go in the 240s, in my opinion. So I do like the over. My best bet on this game as well, though, is on this game from a prop perspective. We'll get there after after the next game here, the last game up, the Thunder and the Lakers. Thunder 36-37 on the season, coming off of the 22-point loss last night to the Clippers. We were on that one as well. This is the second leg of back-to-back games, third game in 4 nights, third of a 4-game road trip as well. So travel spot, it seems like it's pretty bad, but they've actually stayed in LA for all 3 games. So they didn't have to fly out or do anything. They've been in LA for four nights or whatever. So on the Lakers side, they're also 36-37. They're actually on a 4-game. There are actually 4 teams in the Western Conference that are at 36-37. So this is a very important game for playoff positioning in the Western Conference. So I'm expecting a playoff atmosphere type game here. They've won two games. They're on a 2-game winning streak. They just beat the Suns by double digits on Wednesday. Fourth game of a 5-game homestand. So they've been in LA as well for quite a period of time. From an injury perspective, I didn't see anything on the Thunder side. They managed their minutes pretty well yesterday. After in the fourth quarter, they pretty much got blown out. So they took their starters out. No starter went over 30 minutes except for Jalen Williams, I believe. So I don't expect anyone to sit in this key matchup here, but you never know with the NBA. On the Lakers side, LeBron and Mo Bamba are still out. AD is probable once again. He should be in the lineup tonight. Matt, what do you think about this game here?
Yeah, honestly, this is a game where I'm looking at the Thunder. I think this is a Thunder team that matches up very well against this Lakers squad. And, this is a Laker team right now who's coming off back-to-back wins. We were on them on Wednesday. It was a great spot for the Lakers. And I think this is actually another great spot for Anthony Davis. As we know, this is a Oklahoma City Thunder team that does play better defense than a lot of people believe, but they do struggle at the 5 position and the 4 position because they run both to Jalen Williams, and Jalen Williams, the center, is actually only around 6'9". So this is definitely a spot for Anthony Davis, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of traps for Anthony Davis in this matchup as well. But once again, going back to this Thunder team and how they match up against the Lakers. Yes, they don't match up very well against Anthony Davis, but in terms of the Lakers guards and other skilled players, I think this Thunder team matches up very well because you have Luguentz Dort. Dort is one of the better on-ball defenders throughout the league, and I think he'll match up with D'Angelo Russell tonight, and Dort's tough. Especially when you're the same height as him, which D'Angelo Russell is. So I think Dort's going to be able to slow down Russell a little bit. And then you have Jalen Williams running that 4. You have Josh Giddey. You have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. All these guys are very talented and capable of matching up with other players. And as for the Lakers, I don't know if exactly they can match up with this Thunder team all that well with their speed, their shooting ability, their ability to create turnovers on top of that. And one thing that I just looked up recently is, so the Oklahoma City Thunder are coming off a double-digit loss. They lost last night against the Clippers, double digits, and their last 5 games, they're actually 5-0 when responding to a double-digit loss and winning outright. I don't know if I like the Thunder enough to have them win outright here. And I have said 2 teams that you don't doubt. It's the Oklahoma City Thunder and it's the Sacramento Kings. So I do think it's very possible that the Thunder could go out and get this victory here. But me personally, I think I would back them with the 5.5. In addition to that, though, I would definitely look at Anthony Davis. I was chirping him a little bit last show saying he likes to go out and take naps. And he did. He took a nap in the first half. He woke up. He was well rested, and then he balled. So maybe this is one of those games where he actually gives us a full 4 quarters, absolutely balls, because we know he's very capable of going out and getting 35 points, 16 rebounds, something along those lines. If Anthony Davis has a night like that, yeah, I'd probably back the Lakers. But I don't know. He's just been sleepwalking a little bit. So I think here I'm going to back the Thunder with that 5.5. The Thunder have been the more consistent team in terms of covering the spread and showing that they can do it on the road. So for me, I would back the Thunder here with the 5.5.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there. I think the Thunder might be the play today. The interesting thing is, right, they're on the second leg of back-to-back games. They've faced the Lakers twice already this season. Both of those games too, the the Thunder were on second leg of back-to-back games. They did split the series 1-1, but it's just interesting that they scheduled this in this way, that they faced them all three times, second leg of back-to-back games. But the Thunder here, road dog situation, they've been profitable pretty much all season long, 29-1 against the spread in that spot all season long. If you add that, they're on the second leg of back-to-back games, 3-1-1 against the spread. Any way you look at the Thunder from the spread perspective, they've been pretty profitable. Any way you cut it, if you put them as road dogs versus teams under 500, 10-2 against the spread. The Lakers, obviously, they're a much different team after the trade deadline and also without LeBron. If you look at them post All-Star break, they've been more of a defensive-minded team. They've been going under, right, 10-4 to the under post All-Star break. To me, there's a lot of competing trends from the from the side perspective, because especially with how the Lakers have been playing now, they're a lot different. Like I said, pre-All-Star break, I don't know if I want to touch this the side here completely. I would lean towards the Thunder, but maybe I was also looking towards the under though, because of post All-Star break. If you look at these higher totals with the Lakers, 230 or greater, they're actually 7-0 to the under in that spot here. Also, we know in these playoff atmosphere type games, they tend to play a stronger defense. So if I look towards the under, it probably should be also towards the Thunder side, the dog as well. So those two ways would be the only way that I look. I don't know if I'm a put my money on it, but strong leans in that direction, in my opinion. Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna add an interesting look that I thought too. I like the Thunder. I'm with you guys as well, but a little bit more of what the database, I guess, that we look at can do through SDQL. I actually went back and looked at all the teams this season that have played the Clippers and the Lakers in back-to-back games in LA. Point of that being no travel and not playing the
Yeah.
same team twice, but playing on the road, obviously. Road teams actually 11-11-1. There's a split there. But the thing that stood out to me, if that road team is a dog, they've covered 7 out of the last 10, and they've covered 5 out of the last 7 against the Lakers. So I think there's something to be said about potentially, undervalue or overvaluing, depending on which way you look at it, that back-to-back away game. You kind of mentioned it when we let in, Ron. You said 3 straight away games, but there's kind of that asterisk there. It's not really 3 straight away games because you're spending 6 days in the same city. I mean, granted, yeah, it's not your city, but it's like a vacation at that point. So I do think that there's something to be said about the books looking at it more from, the angle that we led it with, that it's 3 straight road games, and that road dog has been able to take advantage of that second game in that swing. And the other thing that really stood out to me that you guys didn't mention from OKC recently, that you guys did mention their bad loss in the last game, but OKC is 12-4 against the spread this season after allowing 125 or more points in a game. And Ron, you mentioned it too, that with this OKC team, you could pretty much make any angle better when you have them playing as a dog or as an underdog. It seems to be the role that they take on and dominate. In that same situation, they're 7-1 against the spread as a dog after allowing 125 or more points. So I do like OKC to bounce back in this game, and it's actually a premium play for me over on SportsMemo too. So
I like it. So a free premium play there. All right, with that said, guys, that's the 3 games that we're going to be talking about. The best bet section is up next. I can get that started here. Seems like we're all going to be on that same game, that the Suns and the Kings game here. My play is going to be a prop play. Chris Paul over PRA 29.5 here. Chris Paul has gone over this number in 7 straight games with DeAndre Ayton out of the lineup. He'll be out of the lineup once again tonight. Paul has also faced the Kings twice already this season, both times with Ayton, and he still was able to get over the PRA here. If we look at it from the 2 games against the Kings here, he actually went over this number with points and assists combined without even the rebounds. First matchup, 17 points, 5 rebounds, 19 assists. Second matchup, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 16 assists. So like I said, he got over the 29.5, which is points and assists alone. Now you're giving me some rebounds to boot. I think this is just a
Yeah.
great matchup and also a great situation for Chris Paul to go over 29.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Let's get to Jeff here.
Yeah, like you said, we're all going back to this game. I'm looking at the other side here, but I'm taking a long shot here tonight, and I don't think it's quite as much of a long shot as the books are making it out to be. I like Sabonis tonight. He's plus 245 at DraftKings to get a triple double, and here's why I'm going with a little bit of the long shot. Because realistically, I kind of went in with the intention that I think Sabonis has a good game, an incredible game at that matter, especially with Ayton being out. He's
Yeah.
had 3 good games against the Suns, but obviously Ayton's been in the lineup for all 3 of those games. And what was amazing to me that I was actually talking about in the lobby before the show, you look at the last 10 games for Sabonis. At this number, his PRAs right now are at 41.5 for tonight. He's gone over that PRA number in 5 out of the last 10 games, which is obviously impressive. He's also gotten a triple double in 5 out of the last 10 games. You want to talk about his last 10 home games? He's only gone over that PRA number, that 41.5, 4 out of his last 10 home games, which is still impressive. He's actually hit more triple doubles in that stretch at home than he has gone over this PRA number. He's gotten 5 out of the last 10 home games. He's hit a triple double. He's done it in 4 straight. And in the last 7 at home, he's averaging a triple double 21, 13.5, and 10. Put you over that PRA number. Not saying the PRA number is a bad bet. That's where I was originally headed here. So I do like that PRA number, but you're actually getting slightly better odds of Sabonis at home, and you get plus 245 instead of laying that minus 120. So while I do like the PRA, I'm going to get that extra money, and we're going to go with Sabonis to hit that triple double again at home tonight.
I like that look. Matt, let's go to you here. What's your best bet? Also, what do you got going on over on the premium side?
Yeah, guys, I'm not gonna lie. I love every single play, and maybe it's because it's the Kings game. You guys know I love hammering the Kings games. But hey, Chris Paul, that is an amazing look. I absolutely love that. I think it's a spot where you could even ladder his assists if you wanted, just because the Kings are
Mm-hmm.
so fast and they run such bad defense. The Kings are 30th in terms of assists given up per game defensively, also 28th in opponent 3-point field goal percentage. So a lot of really
Real
good
quick,
looks to
Matt.
Chris
Real
Paul.
quick, Matt. On that note, with that Chris Paul assist, you can ladder
Mhm.
up to 15, and it's at like plus 6 something.
Yeah.
And he, like I said, first matchup against the Kings, 19 assists. Second matchup, 16 assists. So not out the question. That's a good point to ladder that assist prop.
Yeah, honestly, Ron, I think I might have had Chris Paul as my best bet the last time they played. So, and what's funny is now I'm on the opposite side. Now I got De'Aaron Fox. So, and honestly, before this, I was trying to look what it would be to parlay all those 3 because I love it. I love this game. I mean, maybe I love every Kings game, but I'll quit talking about that. Let's get into De'Aaron Fox. All right. So today, De'Aaron Fox and the Sacramento Kings face off against the Phoenix Suns, and to me, this is just an absolute great spot for De'Aaron Fox. He's going to be going up against Chris Paul, who is a questionable defender at best. DeAndre Ayton is going to be out, so that middle is going to open wide up. Bismack Biyombo is going to be trying to lock that down. And Jock Landale, I don't think he's going to be doing much. So I really do like this spot for De'Aaron Fox. Also have to remember they just got embarrassed at home, okay, by the Boston Celtics. So that's a big factor as well. I really do like when teams just get absolutely blown out because then the next game they're generally going to rebound. They're generally going. No one likes getting embarrassed. Everyone wants to come out and state a point, make a message, and I think that's what De'Aaron Fox and the Sacramento Kings are going to do tonight. In addition to that, De'Aaron Fox did miss this number in their last outing, and when facing the Phoenix Suns, he's 1-1 when hitting this prop. The first game he dropped 35, so we know he's fully capable of going off against the Suns team. And then the second game he dropped 18. So, again, he did drop that 18, but tonight is a far better situation on top of that because, again, there's no DeAndre Ayton. He's going to be going up against Chris Paul. And I like the fact that the Suns have been playing so bad as well. Okay, what I mean by that is they've lost 5 of their last 6, so they're going to have the same motivation in this game to come in and play hard. And what I think is going to happen, and it's a great point by Ron and Jeff, is when breaking down this game, I don't think the Suns are going to be able to keep up. I think they're going to try and keep up. I don't think they're going to have the defensive ability to slow down the Kings. So because of that, they're going to have to play Kings basketball. And what Kings basketball is, it's getting out and running. It's getting out in transition. It's finding three-point shooters. It's shooting early in the shot clock. So when you find games like that, that's when the best opportunity arrives. So that's why we're looking at guys like Chris Paul. That's why we're looking at guys like De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis. All of them are in a great situation tonight. And then when you peel that onion a little further, you realize this Suns team really isn't that good in terms of stopping that point guard position. They're giving up 24.56 points per game to the point guard, which is 8th worst throughout the NBA. And now there's no Ayton on top of that to lock down the middle. And again, they have no depth because of that Kevin Durant trade. So for me, I think it's a great spot for De'Aaron Fox. I could understand if you wanted to go points plus assists as well. But for me, I think this is just a go out and get it night. I think he's going to score some points here. And my last point being, this Phoenix Sun team has given up 119.7 points on the road over their last 3 matchups. That's a lot of points, and I think De'Aaron Fox can be a big factor into doing the same thing tonight. So I'm with De'Aaron Fox over 26.5 tonight.
All right, there you go, guys. Best bets all there for you guys. We went through 3 games as well. All of us, all we do here at sportsmemo.com, we post our plays on sportsmemo.com, but we also are very transparent. Like we started the show here, all of us do different sports. Like Jeff was touching on the college basketball side there, on a hot run there. Myself and Matt, we've been doing well in the UFC as well. Not only just the NBA, but also got to mention that promo code that we talked about earlier today, the NBA 7, the 7-day NBA pass for everyone on the Sports Memo Triple Double Show this week, which is us 3 here, myself, Jeff, Matt, and also Tony Finn over at wagertalk.com. Head over to sportsmemo.com after the show here, and also the next show will be on Monday, the same time, guys, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard on this same channel. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really excited for this weekend. College basketball, UFC, NBA. I'm really excited about it. Hopefully you guys catch us over at sportsmoto.com. You see our pages and our on the site there. You'll see all the picks and plays that we give up. With that said, we'll see you guys on Monday. Take care then. Until then.
Peace.
Play ball. Hot off the press, handicappers from Wager Talk, Sports Memo, and the Gold Sheet have collaborated on the 2023 Wager Talk Media MLB Betting Guide. From World Series odds to regular season win totals and everything in between, this year's betting guide features previews on all 30 teams, all 6 divisions, and season-long awards like the Cy Young, MVP, and Rookie of the Year. Each preview contains key roster acquisitions and departures to help you get up to speed before opening day. Visit wt.buzz/MLB23 to download your free guide, and we'll see you in the batter's box.